tragedy into a profit. He looked at the house with calculating eyes, seeing nothing but square footage and potential ROI. He didn't see the ghost of a boy clutching his side in pain. He didn't see the years of quiet resentment baked into the drywall. I realized then that the house didn't matter. It was just wood and nails, and most of it was rotten anyway. My phone buzzed. It was an unknown number. I usually ignore them, but something told me to pick up. Leo? It was my mother. Her voice sounded thin, stripped of its usual performative vibrance. Mom, I'm calling from Sarah's landline. I just wanted to say that the house sold today. The bank took most of it, but there's a little bit left. Not much. A few thousand. I waited. I knew the rhythm of this song. We gave it to Chloe, she whispered, for a deposit on an apartment. She needs her own space, Leo. She's not doing well in the basement. She needs a win. I didn't get angry. I didn't even sigh. I just felt a profound sense of relief that I was no longer part of that equation. Okay, Mom, you aren't going to yell? You aren't going to tell me how unfair it is? No, I said, looking at the for sale sign one last time. Because it doesn't have anything to do with me. You're giving her the last of your resources to keep her afloat for another 3 months. That's your choice. I'm just glad I'm not the one you're asking to build the raft next time. We're your parents, Leo, she said, and a hint of the old fire returning. We did our best. If that was your best, Mom, then I'm even more impressed with how I turned out. I hung up and blocked Sarah's landline, too. I drove away from that street for the last time. I went home to my apartment where the air was clear and the bills were paid. I made myself dinner. Nothing fancy, just a steak and some greens, and sat in the quiet. I wasn't a traitor. I wasn't cold. I was just finished. I'm 28 now. My savings have crossed the $30,000 mark. I'm looking at small houses in a town 2 hours away, somewhere with a lot of trees and no influencer groups. Every now and then I see a notification on social media from someone who hasn't been blocked yet. Chloe is still posting. She's in a tiny studio apartment now trying to sell wellness tea to her 3,000 followers. My parents are still in the basement. The golden child is still waiting for her solo, but the audience has finally left the theater. And me? I'm finally off the clock. I'm not the emergency contact. I'm not the safety net. I'm just a man with a quiet life and a clean conscience. And for the first time in my life, that's more than enough. The aftermath of the house sale didn't bring the dramatic closure I expected. Instead, it was a slow, agonizing fade into the background of a life I no longer recognized. Aunt Sarah's family-first philosophy lasted exactly 4 months before the reality of hosting 3 grown adults in a finished basement took its toll. I found out through a cousin that Sarah eventually gave my parents an ultimatum. Chloe had to pay rent or they all had to leave. My parents, true to form, I didn't ask Chloe to step up. They asked for more time. Sarah, a woman who prides herself on her immaculate garden and quiet Sunday mornings, finally cracked when she found Chloe filming a Get Ready With Me video in her primary bathroom, using Sarah's expensive perfumes as props. They were evicted from the basement 3 weeks ago. I didn't know until I received a certified letter in the mail. My heart hammered against my ribs as I saw my father's handwriting on the envelope. I thought about throwing it away, but the fixer in me, the one I'm still trying to kill, made me open it. It wasn't a plea for money, it was a legal notice. They were suing me for filial support. Apparently, in our state, there are ancient, rarely used laws that suggest adult children have a financial obligation to their indigent parents. But my father had found a bottom-tier lawyer willing to take a case on a contingency basis. They were coming for my savings, my hoarded wealth, to fund their retirement because they had invested everything into my upbringing. I didn't panic. I didn't cry. I called a lawyer I'd met through my firm, a shark named Elias, who specialized in family litigation. We met in a glass-walled office that overlooked the city. I handed him the papers. Elias skimmed them, a small, predatory smile playing on his lips.